Good evening, and welcome to the Mayor's Update Live with our Mayor, Joe Preston, and myself, Graydon Lang. Mayor Joe, how are you doing this evening?
Well, I felt I had to dig and find a toque that was as good as yours. And not to say that the caps off is, but I was there earlier today. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wearing my St. Thomas toque.
Awesome. We can't quite see. Can you tilt it down? Does it have a logo on there? Like, is there a little?
Yeah, it's a St. Thomas, City of St. Thomas logo on the front. So
very nice. The old logo. This is a retro.
It is the old logo, and we found a number of these. And so, guess where the toques are going? To anyone who needs a toque in downtown, but certainly from the inn or from Grace Cafe, we're trying to hand out some of these toques. But the mayor took one, so he had one in his briefcase in case he was ever in need of one. And tonight I saw you with your toque on and said, "Great, Mayor Joe can put a toque on."
Toque up. Represent.
Yes.
Oh, man. So we've got a guest coming on in probably about 15 minutes. But before we get to that, what was happening at council over this past week?
We had a lot of stuff on at council this week. So let me just see if I can find my starting page. We had the municipal airport, the assignment of a lease out there, and some more zoning having to do with, in this case, Elgin Carpet 1, which is across the road from the Walmart. Elgin Carpet is trying to put in a warehouse to go with their store there, and we'd love it to happen. So we said yes to that. And we had also we're doing a environmental survey of the little piece of land we own on Ross Street by the railway lands. The rest of it, the Terry Group are doing an environmental survey on their piece. So we said, let's join in and we'll pay our share of our little piece. So that's happening. So we can really look at what can we do with housing there. We came up with our council meeting schedule for 2022. So we all know the days we work and who the emergency alternative council members are in case the mayor doesn't show up for work one night. So we've assigned all of those. We received a letter from from Lindsay Rice from YWCA and Doug Terry, kind of explaining the total cost of the Tiny Hope project and what they would like, what money they would like from the city. And so we'll take that and discuss it. See where we can find it in the budget and see what we can do. We're all about housing, so that's the place we're going there. We also, said that we'll pass our budget the 10th of January when we're back. So that's another thing. We decided we could not sit on the night of the 3rd of January, and not because we're not back and ready to go, but City Hall is closed for a lot of the Christmas week, the week before, and we can't get the agendas out. And so we just moved our schedule in January off the 3rd and down to the 10th. And that's pretty much it. We recognized also at council 5 scholarship winners on the recipient of the County Health Recruitment Scholarships. We like to help people with their tuition that are in the medical field so that they will come back here and work. So we recognize, I'm going to read their names: Daniel Block, Brandon Clark, Daniel Starcevic, and those 3 are from St. Thomas. And then a Laura O'Gorman and Karina the Cracker, and they're county residents, and they all got scholarships. And so we recognized those.
Fantastic.
And then council ended, and we did some public meetings. The first public meeting is a piece of what they call vacant land condominium that's on Royal Dornoch in the Shaw Valley piece. It is simply, instead of building individual homes, they build the complex as an open condominium complex. I believe that one has mostly single-family homes and a couple of strips of townhomes in it. And so we gave approval, or we had the public meeting for that. And then the owners of Sunset Towers are converting the building to a full condominium and leaving all of the rental in place. So please, sometimes this is done from a tax point of view on the building, not for anything else. All of the current tenants, all of the tenants in Sunset Towers are told this will not change a thing. We won't ask you to convert to a condominium without coming to you first, and you can say no. So it's a pretty safe thing, but it's changing the legal status of the building.
Right? So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, you know what? Even here, having heard it explained to us, so the whole building will be, each of the units will be wholly owned by the same corporation that owns the building now, but there will be condominiums of that building instead of rental units. But in fact, as a condominium, you can use it as a rental unit. So that's the intent.
Oh, okay.
Right? There will be, we think, some tax reduction for the building because it's now a condominium building. And all of the current tenants are also promised they'll see that reduction, whatever's saved in taxes, off their rent. So even that works out well for the tenants too. So
cool.
We also, a question was also asked by one of the councillors, will this go against the vacancy percentage in our community? Does it now not count as rental, and therefore tenancy or vacancy rates are higher or lower? And no, as long as it's still being used as rental property, it'll always be counted as number of units of rental property and in the percentage of that. So that's all those were. So some of the more legal things you learn being the mayor in public meetings. Were basically legal changes. So.
Very interesting. I was just driving on the way into actually. I always say it right. It's like a magical Christmas. Was that what the Christmas?
Yeah, sure.
So I drive towards a magical Christmas, and the new apartment buildings are going up by the train tracks on the south side of Elm there.
Well,
they're coming along quite well.
That's a row of about 6 townhomes. Some of that land used to be owned by the curling club that ran their parking lot there along there. And I think it's Prespa builders. They've done some work in Port Stanley. And they're building, I think, about 6 freestanding townhomes there that back onto the walking trail at the track and have a very short front yard in the front. But 6 new places for families to live. So, way to go!
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to see those developments coming along.
Yeah.
And just before we've got our guest here, and just before we bring her on, I want to mention about the St. Thomas and the GSCA, which is the Greater St. Thomas Area Gets Lit project, which is a project we're doing in collaboration with Tastemaker Studio, where you take a picture of your house or someone else's house that's lit up, and you post it onto the collaborative map. And everyone can see like what houses are lit and where. And then if you want to do a little tour, COVID safe in your car, and look at all the wonderful houses we have in St. Thomas County, you can just go to that map and plan out your route based on what you see.
You get all lit up and then post it on the website. Okay, that's not the way it should be.
That's the Jeep Club. The Jeep Club gets lit up at Christmas and drives around. So hopefully they're going to do that again this year.
Right.
And we're going
that
to
will
see
be
it.
great. But this gives people in St. Thomas. I know there's one right out by me that is just a phenomenal one on Greenway. And even I, driving home some nights in the dark, stop on Greenway and watch it for a while. It is just, and I could see it every day. But you have accumulated, or all of the people in St. Thomas have accumulated a map of where the best lit up houses are. So great.
But we do need some more help, because I think there was some user error, and some of the houses, all of the houses and all the photos got removed. So we're rebuilding.
Right. Okay. Which is a lot like redecorating your house for Christmas again. So if you have already done an entry on the website, go on back and make sure yours is still there. And if it's not, show us again, please. So that those of us that want to drive around in the evenings and look at the specially lit up houses in St. Thomas can do so.
Absolutely. Now I'm saving every day. I'm going to save the maps as they go. So if this happens again, we don't.
I think computer experts teach you to do that all the time.
Well, I would have thought Google, being a very advanced, company, would have designed a system where you can see who did what, but you can't go back and revert to a previous version.
Wow, that's like autosave and then, or go back to the last time it was posted. Well, so you keep saving it. Now it'll always go back to the last save.
We can see who did what, but we can't go back to the previous version.
So you know who may have made an error.
We're very aware.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. One of those things. So if you're working at Google and you're watching the mayor's update, maybe fix that section of the Google Maps collaborative map project, because that'd be handy for people.
Well, it would be very handy for people not having to repeat work that is fairly tedious to do in the first place. Absolutely. We got a few guests tonight. Faye and Margaret and Austin have all come on and said hi. As per always, folks, it's great to have you here, but please also let other people know the mayor's update's on, and tell them to come join us and ask us questions about things happening in St. Thomas.
And we've got our next guest, Elle, from the Small Business Enterprise Center. She's a business advisor there, and she started a very cool project. And Elle, maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, wait, I just want to say what an appropriate name elf is here at Christmas.
It's just Elle.
It's not elf.
We're going to skip the F.
Okay. The mayor's trying to be funny tonight. Let's see if he succeeds. He didn't dare. Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because I was talking to Greg today, and he's like, "Is it L or is it LE?" Like he's like, "I thought I had it right, but no, he did have it right." Everybody was telling me LE. It's just L.
I'm going through all the city documents and putting an F on the end now.
All right.
We'll call
you Mayor Joe.
That also works. Right. I think I've shared on this show that I was at least 8 or 9 before I knew there was an E in Joe.
Works either way.
Yeah. Hey.
Anyways, thanks for having me tonight, guys.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to chat with you about Side Gig, our new program at the Small Business Center. So we just launched it on Tuesday. It's a brand new program. And what it is a grant-based program for young people in Elgin County or St. Thomas to start a new business. So we're targeting people between 15 and 29 years old that live in either one and are either working part-time or full-time, or in school part-time or full-time. So what we're really targeting is people who have a skill or an area where they've been working for some time and they want to develop that into a business. And what this program provides is up to $1,000 in grant funding, training, mentorship, support. You get a peer group of awesome people who are in the same position as you. And we're going to loop you into our amazing, as Joe and Graydon know, our amazing small business community in St. Thomas and Elgin County. So it's a really exciting program, and we can't wait to have people join us. And we just put out the expressions of interest as the first step. So if anybody's interested, I will post, or Graydon will post a link in the chat somewhere.
Already there
to apply. So we're hoping to have expressions of interest in by January 2nd. And then from there, we'll invite people to continue on in the process. So, yeah.
Well, this is really exciting. As a young person still in my teens, it started one of my first businesses. So it was old enough. It was only in black and white. But I really kind of caught the bug to be an entrepreneur, to want to be in business for myself rather than, and I won't say I didn't go from there back into jobs and then back into owning my own business, but it gave me a taste of what it's like. And I'll share it with you as a business person, a small business person in this community. Obviously, the business is small. But as a small business person in this community, some of the best people we can hire are people who have worked for themselves, either in summer companies or starter companies and other stuff, because they recognize how much pressure that owner that they're now working for is under. Being an entrepreneur and designing their business and fretting over paying the bills and the other things. So, look, I love this program, Side Gig, and the partners in it are really like the Ignite Youth Center, also helping, and EDC, and please call on us small businesses to help too, because we really do know what that's like.
Yeah, it's such a great point that you bring up, is like transferable skills. You're always going to take something away, even if it's not even a specific skill. It could just be connections. Having a small business makes you highly connected in the community, which could lead to more friends. I mean, that's how I met Graydon. Could lead to just like all kinds of awesome, positive aspects of your life. So it's not even just about the business. It's so much more than that. It's about feeling empowered, feeling connected, feeling in control of your career too. And who we're really targeting in this program is people who highly skilled. So they have knowledge or passion about a topic, and they're looking to take that information, and they're probably coming out of university and wanting to apply that to their career. So yeah, we're just really excited, and it can be a business about anything. Honestly, you can start any kind of business. We've seen kids this year. I worked with a young guy who started reselling high-end sneakers. You can do anything, and we're really excited about. Yeah.
Well, listen, we've got Graydon as a small business owner. I mean, so it is provable that everybody can do it.
That's accurate. That is accurate. I'm an artist, right?
And Graydon will share with you, as will I. Small business owners, one of the greatest traits they can come up with is knowing what they're good at and knowing what they're not good at. And those that succeed with that phrase usually do very well in their business, right? Because, I don't know the first thing about marketing or computers or making films, but I'm a business person. I can do this. And you get to work with others who have contrary skills in a lot of cases. And
complementary, I think, is a
yes. And that really works, right? So
yes. And the great thing about this too is I think there's all this pressure to build your own career and to make it for yourself and to just really have it all and do it all. But the truth is we actually do so much better when we do things collaboratively. So working with a business advisor is a game changer, even just from an accountability standpoint, just having somebody that you check in with. I know that was sometimes the most valuable thing that I was providing to people in our other programs. But then having also peers, having a network of people who are going through the same experience and struggling with the same things helps you not go crazy. So I think we have to normalize that everybody needs help in some aspects of their business. And that there are resources and people and so much out there to actually help you do that too. So whether you're a young person or not. So I will say that too.
Well, but the other thing is, obviously you go out and get a job, you've created a job, right? Or you filled a job. You create a business. There is another great opportunity that perhaps you will create employment for other people. We love that small businesses grow in our community because they often grow past the original startup owner of the company or proprietor. And even if it's only one or two more, or sometimes hundreds more ideas and great businesses that get started. That's true entrepreneurism and great capitalism for our community.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the best things as a small business owner is actually just hiring somebody to do work for you. So even hiring Graydon to make you an awesome video or hiring a photographer to take photos for your social media, those are also super valuable ways that you create more opportunities for everyone in the community. So, and they're really exciting to be a part of. So, yeah.
And in today's climate, like Side Gig, the word getting out there seems to be far more easy than it used to be. To tell people, I'm new in town and I service scooters. I don't know. The hardest part used to be to finding your first scooter client and then your second and your third. And now it seems a little easier. Not saying any of this is easy, but that part, the spreading the word now may have a little less effort to it than it used to have.
Absolutely.
It still requires great customer service and great client rapport and all of those other things that come with small businesses. But as you're seeing here, we use social media in a pretty neat way to tell the stories of what's happening in our community. So.
Absolutely. And I think there's so many people who are keen to support. And so I want to say thanks for having me to chat about this. And also that even though we launched this program on Tuesday, I had a lady from Alberta call me today who had heard about it, and she's from this area. And so it got all the way to Alberta since Tuesday. So that's pretty exciting. And so volumes to the community we live in. So
yeah, well, great.
And I can speak from firsthand experience. The whole team, and yourself included, SPAC, are absolutely fantastic. When I first came back to St. Thomas and I started up, I connected in with the advisors there, and it really helped. I got a grant as well for my business, which also kickstarted some equipment I could buy. I can't say enough good things about the Small Business Enterprise Center and the staff you guys are working with. It's absolutely incredible for our small little town to have this amount of support.
It's one of the most rewarded parts of our community.
Speaking of which, Elle's up for an award now, aren't you?
Well, that's what I was getting to. Is we've got stardom right here tonight. how much
I'm just a finalist, guys.
Economic Development Corporation gets recognized for some of the great things it's done. And what a team. You should see them when they're all together.
It's a very powerful team. And I'm really excited to be part of it. Yeah. And the other thing I'll just say is that the Small Business Center services are free. So if you have a business, if you're expanding a business, if you're thinking about starting a business, call us. Like, we're here to be a resource. So we're super happy to chat. And I got, like they're saying, I have a great team who's also happy to help.
Yeah. And that's a great point. Now, we have a lot of people in this community who for some reason think they should call the mayor. But I'm thinking of starting a new business, and what do I do next first? And I say, you go to EDC. You go to who are already the experts in our community, you know where government funding is, where vacant sites are, if that's what you're looking for ideas on business planning. All of those things are already at one place. Go there. Mm-hmm. And from that, then I also say the opposite. You know, if you want to be successful in a business and you know somebody who is already successful in that business, how about chatting with them? I've never heard a business person turn someone down for just a chat about how to start a business or what was the hardest part. And I know I won't. I'm happy to talk at length, I guess, to people who want to know what was the hardest thing or well, I can't go talk to him. I'm trying to enter into that market. Mm-hmm. Trust me, you can. Business people are very proud of their businesses, and I'm happy to share everything except for the, Colonel's secret recipe, I guess. Well, I bet the Colonel would have even shared the secret recipe.
Well, we'll see.
Well, and in his case, it was a side gig for a number of years.
Yeah.
But the Colonel did not become successful until past 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he worked a long time at a business that it made him very rich later in life, but not too many years after he did it. Right? So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
Tell you facts about the Colonel now.
One of your competitors.
Yeah.
The Colonel and Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, were very good friends. And so many of our stories have been shared in our corporate, between the two companies.
That's awesome.
Good. We got a comment from Faye Gallagher there. It says, thanks, Elle, for your great enthusiasm and all the best with your future.
Great.
Awesome.
They don't say nice things about the mayor. Let me look. No.
Sometimes, every once in a while.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He even goes under a pseudonym and puts the nice comments in.
That's I'm like, no, they're saying nice things. They're saying nice things.
Yes.
Elle, thanks so much for taking the time out of your evening to join us and share this information for everybody.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We've put the contacts up on here so people, even all week, as you're going back to look at your favorite episode of Mayor's Update, this will still be here for people to look up and say, what were they talking about the other night? There it is.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks
so much, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's just fantastic. I love it.
I got another neat one today, and some of the pictures were on social media today, but this is the first annual Shopping with Cops, or Shop with a Cop program.
Shop with a Cop.
And these were tweens, is what we call them, younger teens through teens. A lot of them from the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization, but not all of them. And they got to go out and shop with a cop for themselves and for their families. And you should have seen the unselfishness. A lot of the comments saying, I really needed to get something I wanted to get a game so that I could play things with my sister and brother. Mom and Dad do so much, and I wanted to get something for them. It's really quite a neat program, and happy to be involved with it in the first year through the Police Services Board, which I sit on. But to see the officers in our police services out there doing things like this on their own time, to really work hard on making our community a better place, and young people understand what police life might be like too. So way to go, Chief Herridge and the whole team.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
I saw the post on social media, shared it on Establish. I think it's fantastic that they are able to bring that kind of happiness and holiday spirit to these kids and their families.
Yep. Great.
So good.
Want to talk about homelessness and COVID?
Yep. Let's do it.
This week, we have prepared all through COVID. So for the last 20 months, the city, who is responsible for housing, like with our shelter and the daytime rest center on Talbot Street, have prepared for the eventuality that we may get some cases of COVID in our residences too. Now, if you stop to think, it's significantly different than in my home. If I was to have COVID, I might go to the hospital, make sure I'm okay, but then I will be sent home to rest up until it's gone. Well, when you're homeless, where is that? What do you do? And certainly we shouldn't be going back to the cold or other places where homeless people are, because we can spread it. And so we had to very quickly this week come up with some vacant spots for some people to recover from cases of COVID. And so the city immediately looked for, what do we have? Mm-hmm. And the Wellington Street School, we've been working on a quick renovation there and a future leasing potential for that building, but said it's empty right this minute. Mm-hmm. It certainly isn't a housing complex. It isn't, but it's someplace where we could isolate those that needed to be isolated. Yep. And house them and feed them and get them well again. And I want to thank all of the different players who played a large role in this last week, getting it ready and getting people in there and isolated so that they had a place to be getting well again. And so there are a lot of comments on social media after word of it came out. Mm-hmm. Some of them, frankly, not so pleasant, but for the most part, if you are homeless, where do you go when you must have a place to settle? And so we've made that possible and trying to make it work. And so that takes care of, hopefully, although I was told this or this is what's happening there. City had a building. We're using it right now for a short term. We hope that the recovery time from those that have COVID is, first, very successful, and second, very short. But the city, from a housing point of view, will always be there from a housing point of view. There are others that need to deliver healthcare, and there are others that need to deliver other parts. And we asked them all to come to the table, and thankfully they all did and are helping. So if you have any questions on that, throw it up on the comments, and the mayor will try to answer those too.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, from a citizen's point of view, like, it was pretty cool to see all the action plans come together, because I know you've been working on that and having that space ready if it was needed since the beginning of the outbreak. So just seeing that everyone come together and have it all work is just,
right.
It's fantastic. It's
amazing how that does work, Greg. This is, we just said, from the side gig point of view, we're not all experts at anything, mm-hmm. right? Most of us, we're lucky, we're good at one thing or two things, right? So it's whenever we can gather a elite group of 10 or 12 different community organizations to help us with a project like this, we know we're getting the best of all of them. Right? And those that aren't the best at it can say, oh, that's how we do that. Great, perfect.
Yeah, and you're doing something that really hasn't, we're doing COVID. Like, we've never dealt with COVID, this kind of an outbreak before in our lifetime. And you guys even brought in another team from outside who had dealt with it during this time period to give you advice throughout. Yeah,
somebody else who was forced to deal with it was then able to share how they dealt with it too. If I can share with you, all through COVID, we've had additional places where we could isolate people if we needed them. Memorial Auditorium was set up with cots as far as the eyes can see for a long time. Yep. Then we broke that down because we used it as our vaccination center. So when this minor number of cases came forward, we had to say, what's next? What's the second best? What's the third best? And we're there. And we're able to do it. But we'd learned a lot about keeping a facility set up for months at a time, and priorities of what would happen first, second, third, when we had people who were diagnosed. And so thank you to St. Thomas for helping us do this. The great groups are doing great work. And look, we're not out of this yet. I mean, I think we all have relaxed a little bit, but I think COVID's kind of rearing its ugly head again this week, and we want to make sure we can separate those that need it.
Absolutely. We're looking at questions here, but we don't have too many questions. I thought we were going to get a whole bunch of questions about this.
Yeah. Well, with the my sister's brother-in-law's barber's girlfriend told me this was happening over there, comments on Facebook today. I thought we would too, but I just love to come on and set it straight. Here's where we are, and here's why we're doing it. Here's what we thought was the right reason to do it, and everybody deserves a home or a place to recover. And if you were homeless, where would that be for you? So we're glad we were able to provide.
Very good. And I'd like to welcome Timothy Hedden, who has joined us. I'm not sure if Timothy has been around for the past several months. Maybe Timothy can tell us, but he certainly wasn't commenting, but he's back commenting again this evening.
You think he was stalking us?
He was for a little bit.
Not commenting.
I think his wife maybe got jealous and she was like, you know what, Tim, like, you got to ease back. Not so much Mayor's update, a little more me. That's what I feel is happening.
Okay. I think that's probably true.
And that's fair, right? That's fair.
Yeah. So we're glad he's been able to do both.
Oh.
Yeah. Tim asked, should a best practices sheet be put together for future pandemics? And of course, if we could expect that they would all act the same way. We've learned a lot from this one on how to do it right. And even as this one modifies and changes itself, this pandemic, we've learned how to react. And maybe if we've learned any one thing, it's careful not to think it's over before it is. And so because you'll get caught having to go back to a practice you are already very good at. But Tim, great point. Absolutely. We need to learn from our history and recognize this is what happens. And also need to learn that experts are experts and they know a little more than some of us.
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah. Well, how many times have we fallen back? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man! All right, we've got a whole bunch of viewers, but we've got no questions coming in. Do we wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess when you're this good at both broadcasting and reporting, or the politics of a city, I guess we can just assume that all is well with the world. Right?
Yeah. And then the next question is, what are our holiday hours? Are we doing next week? Are we taking 2 weeks off?
Yeah, I don't mind doing next week and then taking the week off between Christmas and New Year's. I think we should let the people know what's going on, and specifically if anything happens. If this had been next week, we would have wanted to bring this topic up and have a conversation on it. So if it's all right with you and Jess,
that's the main.
Yeah, you go sell it, and I'll go sell it to Stephanie right after too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just an hour next Wednesday night, and it's not, what day of the week is that? 23rd?
I think so.
Well, so it should still be okay. I think we're ready for Christmas. So, and I will share with you, Stephanie has done 100% of that work. Okay, it's. I have not been the world's greatest helper this year, except for maybe some lights outside at the cottage and some other stuff. But our plates have been full.
Yeah, no. Speaking of lights, Jess has lit up our house more than it has ever been before. And I'm a bit of a Scrooge when it comes to lights. So we had this one strand of lights that goes kind of halfway across our deck door, and I was really proud of it. I really like that one strand of lights. Are you getting?
Stephanie just came out of her office decorated for Christmas, and so now she's going to walk behind me and show. In character. She's in character, but yeah, I'm the same as you, Graham. For years I was away a lot in Ottawa and working, and so decorating the house was not the high priority. And Stephanie's kind of put the Scrooge. Yes, okay. So Stephanie, yeah, okay.
Whoa,
yeah.
This is incredible.
She even has lights in her hair. Wow.
This is the ghost of.
Oh, you're doing the ghost of Christmas past.
Present.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's usually a ghost for me. I don't get present. No, I'm just kidding. We do very well.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Kind, loving, and caring. And remember, don't judge other people, only the way that you would love to be cared about.
Agreed.
So I'm going back to my castle in the hill. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Stephanie.
Bye, Stephanie. That's amazing.
I always leave the door open, and they never know what I'm going to get. So it's fantastic. For those that don't know, Stephanie does peer support in the mental health field also, and she herself has bipolar, but she does some really great things in our community, and really with peer support across the country. So I'm so proud of her. She's taught me, as the mayor, so much about dealing with mental health and because of that, addictions and homelessness too. So she's made me a far better person with what she's been able to show me. But sometimes she's a lot of funny too.
I love it.
I don't know whether and you all heard about the famous gingerbread house, right? That Graydon and I started and said, "Hey, Stephanie, finish decorating this for us, will you?" We have to go do.
We didn't even say that. She just did it. She helped us.
Yeah.
She just stepped in.
Like, we didn't give her credit. It was still Graydon and Joe's gingerbread.
I gave her credit. Now, Joe, you took all the credit. I saw that. I saw that paper on the display, and you didn't think I was going to come because I was so busy with this animation festival. It was, who made this house? Mayor Joe.
Yeah. I didn't fill in the little card. Somebody from there did. So let's not be blaming me.
Well, let's be fair. I only put in 3 hours. I put in 3 hours, and it was an intense 3 hours. And maybe in a couple of years we can share those photos. But
oh yes, and the curse words that went with it when every wall fell.
Learned a lot. It was a learning experience.
And Faye Gallagher says, "I want to hang out with Steph. She looks like fun." She absolutely is. Yeah. Very much so.
100%. Oh man! And Timothy's made a comment about a moon cube. Unfortunately, I don't know what this moon cube is. So, and China's going to touch it, and then I don't know.
Yeah, let's just move forward and keep our city growing and succeeding at the pace that it is, and we'll put up all that we need to do to help the city of St. Thomas. So,
absolutely. I'm going to swing it back to the lights. Because Jess has put up lights, and it's gotten me in the Christmas spirit around our house. So if you drive by our house, there's a Christmas tree that's lit up, and like we've never really had that before. And there's lights along the deck now.
So people think there's new people there.
They must. They're like, who moved in?
Never put anything up. Yeah. Well, as I said, this first year we've put a lot up. Stephanie's got this rattan deer in the yard that is all lit up, and of course, with the 100-mile-an-hour winds last week, many of the parts of the deer blew around our neighborhood. Well, we're not giving up. The deer's back up, and if it's windy tomorrow, we'll put it back up again. That's right. We'll show you. The Christmas spirit is fix those decorations.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Tim's saying apparently China found a cube on the moon.
Great.
So...
First of all, what was the cube doing there? And second of all, what was China doing there?
Maybe they placed the cube there so they could find it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's a large tree lit up on Sunset by the school.
Yep, by Parkside. It looks fantastic.
Have you got that on your list?
I've got it on the list.
All right, great.
Yep.
Thank you for helping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tim is asking us to solve the mystery of the cube on the moon from China. Well, he's saying that's what he wants to know. Get on it, Joe. Okay, I will tell you. I will spend at least a moment of my day tomorrow thinking about a cube on the moon.
Little known fact, Mayor Joe is actually a super sleuth.
Yeah.
Does things like this. Tim is one of the few people that is aware of this.
Tim and I have a lot of fun, and somehow always run into each other at breakfast time. So I've yet to buy him breakfast, and the other day he came in and bothered the mayor for about 4 or 5 minutes and left without even eating himself. So
really,
yeah,
shocking.
Well, we like our fans, and so we didn't call him any names till after he left.
Fair enough.
All right. Getting many questions here tonight, Graydon, and I've shared just about everything that happened this week. And so I want to wish you all one more weekend till Christmas. And if you're not ready, get out there. Because there's getting to be less and less, and there's getting to be more and more people out there looking at less and less stuff. But remember, shop local, do all you can to help local businesses. and yourself. Make your community a better, more prosperous place. And we'll talk to you next Wednesday, and then we'll really do our Christmas show. We'll see what Stephanie's outfit might be next weekend, and maybe JoJo the Wonder Dog can be in her reindeer outfit. That's
Oh, that'd be amazing.
she's just sleeping on the bed behind me now, so she's not a real adventurous dog. No.
I love it. Well, thanks again to all our viewers, our sponsors, and everybody out in St. Thomas watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great night.